and welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where we're talking about some of the news that's happened during the week. When we were on before this break, we were talking about the U.S. ultimatum in Israel, and Caleb Alexander was giving us a wealth of information regarding that situation and its implications, not only in Africa, and we're going to probably talk about it from the perspective, what are the implications on the United States and the Black community? So, Caleb,
hmm
you want to pick up where you left off, or you want to answer my question?
Let's roll with your question.
So, Netanyahu
Mhm,
is really got a thing for this war. So why,
mhm,
they've already killed the three Hamas leaders. They've
mhm.
already have uh, bomb. They did a drone attack in Iran, correct?
Yeah, so they
Okay,
have, yeah.
and then of course they're messing with the folks in Lebanon. So
mhm,
why does he insist on having this war?
mhm. So prior to the Hamas attack, was it last October? Netanyahu was already in political trouble. He was already on the way out, uh, and so I imagine this attack for somebody like Netanyahu was probably a godsend because he was already on his way out, and this was a means for him to remain in power. Netanyahu is he has a thirst for power. He's been in and out of the prime minister's office since right after the Gulf War. He gained fame. He came to fame during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, and he has just had this thirst for power and being in power. Very right wing, Likud party member. But he is, like I said, prior to this, the Israeli population were tired of his policies. They were tired of the right wing Likud government, and he was on the way out. So this has been a means and a method for him to remain in power. Understands that after this conflict is over, he's going to have to leave power.
Okay. So when we start looking at the situation in Israel, situations in Africa, what are the implications for Black America?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's for Black America. One, you have like for instance, I'm the parent of a young man who's serving in the currently serving in the Navy. A lot of our forces in the Middle East are in the Navy. We do have those drones that are not only attacking land-based targets, but a lot of the rebels, the Houthi rebels, are attacking ships. They're attacking Navy vessels, and so it's very concerning to be drawn into a wider conflict. To have uh, and we all know the composition of the U.S. military. Uh, we all know that a lot of times it's the black and brown kids that join the military for a lack of economic opportunities elsewhere in the country, and so it has direct implications on us. It's our kids that are going to go over there and fight and die in a war that really has no security implications for us. In a war for a person like Netanyahu who is just wants to fight to stay in power. So I don't want my kid dying to keep Netanyahu in power. I don't think any of us want our kids to go over there and fight a war just so Netanyahu can stay in power. This war, it's turned from a defensive war to a very unjust war, to a war of genocide. They're exterminating the entire population. And so, as far as the implications, it's our kids that are going to do the fight, and it's our kids that are being put at risk, especially if you have a situation where um, they're widening the war with Hezbollah, they're widening the war with Lebanon, they're widening the war with Iran, and so it has direct implications. People don't understand. Iran is no longer a year away from building an atomic device. Iran is now anywhere for probably about less than 2 months. They're able to assemble an atomic device. they have enough material, enough. They've reached a level of technology to where they can assemble a device. If they decide to launch a device, uh, that device is not going to be contained on land where our kids are on land, because it's our kids that are maintaining that those Patriot missile batteries. It's our kids that are maintaining all those air defenses that we've sent over there to Israel, and it's not going to be just contained with land. It's going to be that blast is going to be devastating to our ships that are off the coast. And again, as a father of a son who is serving in the United States Navy, it's concerning. You know what I mean? So that's how it does have direct implications to African Americans, and it's also a wider conflict with Iran. You talk about inflation right now. Just imagine how much you can be paying at the gas pump in a regional war.
Well, Caleb, let me ask you a question. The cancer of Trump internationally, how does that
Mm-hmm.
relate to Netanyahu? When you tell me about somebody who doesn't want to leave office, we've never heard of anything of like this until Trump came into office. So I believe there's a cancer that's affected the whole world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So authoritarianism is on the rise. You know, you have Putin, you have Xi Jinping in China, you have uh, just you have the rise in France with Marie Le Pen. You have the rise of right wing governments in Italy. You have the rise of right wing governments that are trying to come to power in Germany. You have the rise. I mean, it's really it's all over the world. You have really very right wing fasci- uh, fascism is on the move. You see it in Argentina. You see it in Brazil. You see it. I mean, uh, everywhere. So it definitely is. Democracy is definitely being challenged around the world. You see, and Trump has this affinity for dictators and fascists. I mean, this guy wanted to have the last time he was in office, he wanted to have a military parade, North Korean style, with tanks riding down Washington. You know what I mean?
I remember
Riding
that.
down the street. You remember that? Riding down the street in Washington, where he wanted to salute dear leaders. So I mean, uh, I think General Milley and General Kelly put it aptly. The guy he's a danger. He's the biggest threat to American democracy. He's the biggest threat to democracy around the world, because who we elect here has direct implications uh, on around the world. And so, uh, if Trump is elected, Ukraine will fall. If Trump is elected, Taiwan will fall. If Trump is elected, it changes the equation globally, because countries that were no longer interested in pursuing nuclear weapons uh, will pursue nuclear weapons, because the world becomes a free for all. The international system of laws and justice is gone by the wayside, and you will have an international system where it's all about might makes right, and the strong it's the strong survive. And so uh, again, it changes the equation, because if America is not going to uphold a system of justice and fairness and international order, then countries will find other ways to defend themselves. And make no mistake about it, Japan can create a nuclear device in less than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
South Korea can create a nuclear device in less than 2 weeks. Um,
South Korea or North Korea?
Both.
North Korea already has it. South Korea can create a nuclear weapon in less
Mm-hmm.
than 2 weeks. South Korea can probably put together a weapon in about a week. I mean, countries that are extremely technologically advanced, like South Korea, Japan, Singapore, countries like that can put together a nuclear device in less than 2 weeks. And I think you will see other countries that have reached that technological capability. Make no mistake about it. If Nigeria wants a nuclear weapon, Nigeria can put together a nuclear weapon. If South Africa wants a nuclear weapon, South Africa could create a nuclear weapon. It changes the dynamic around the world, where countries will. Ukraine has already made that threat that they are going to have to reconsider. If they're not admitted to NATO, Ukraine is threatening to pursue uh, nuclear weapons.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take a break, and I've got one more question for Caleb. And again, hit the like button and the subscribe so you can get our alerts. And we'll see you back in a minute.